Hello, this is Scott Marshburn with eCabinets Tips and Tricks. This is part 2 on making our resizable octagon column. In this video, I will be putting the geometry on the top and deck and fixed shelves and constraining that geometry to make our octagon so that it will resize properly when we change the size of our column there. So stay tuned and see how I did that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our geometry on these. What I'm going to do is, in this video, I'm just going to do the top. The fixed shelves and the deck are identically the same, so I'm not going to make this a long drawn out video by making you watch me do every single part. So I'm going to click on my top here, and I'm going to go into Part Editor. I'm going to go into the contour mode, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to click on Create Edges. Now there's a couple of different ways you can do this. I'm going to show you both ways. You can use just a line on a 45-degree angle, draw it across your corners here. So let me show you how to do that. I'm going to uncheck Angle Snap, and I'm going to check it again. When you do that, it brings up this dialog here, which allows you to set your angle, your snap angle. I want it to be 45 degrees in this case, so I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to click on my line tool, and I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to draw a random 45-degree angle line. Alright, that's one way to do it. And then you would trim two entities, so you would keep this line and this line, which gets rid of this section here, and this one, and trim that one, which gets rid of that one, leaving just this corner here. So I'm going to do that one and that one. Now another way, which is probably quicker, is to use your chamfer tool. I'm going to click on my chamfer tool, and I'm going to use one distance here, and I'm going to set that distance at 2 inches, and I'm going to click on OK. And I'm just going to click on this line and this line here. This line and this line, and it is, for whatever reason, not doing it for me. Let's do it again. 2 and OK. I wonder if the reason it's not doing that was because I trimmed that. That must be the reason. So let me delete all entities and go back and create edges. And let's draw our lines here and do this a little bit differently. And that's probably why you need to do either or. And it doesn't matter where this is at, because we're going to use constraints, okay, to make this adjust properly. Now let's see if we can get this chamfer tool to work. I'm going to click on my chamfer tool, and I'm going to set it for 2 inches, and I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to click that line and that line. This time it worked. It didn't work the other time because we probably already trimmed this. Now, I don't know if it happens with the chamfer tool, but I know sometimes when you use the fillet tool, it can leave these lines in here that look like they're gone, but they're really not, sometimes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click just to make sure, and I'm going to click Delete Duplicate Entities. It says none are detected, and these lines didn't show back up. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, you might want to check out my video on troubleshooting the contour editor. I found out that, like I said, if you're using the fillet tool, sometimes it'll leave phantom lines in here and cause problems. And Thermwood has addressed that and noted it, and they said that they're going to get it fixed on the next release. So okay, now we got these. Now we need to trim these like I did just a few seconds ago. So I'm going to trim 2 entities, and I'm going to keep that line and this line and this line and that line. Takes away those. And that one, trim that one to that one. Now I can go exit the contour mode and right click and create part using close contour and click next. And yes, I want to remove the geometry, and I'm going to go back to main. And yes, I want to keep the changes. So now we got our roughed out octagon here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into Constraint Manager. Now if we had went ahead and put our part editor cuts on the rest of these, if I went directly into Constraint Manager without selecting this top, these would show up in this drop down here, which will allow you to select each one and do whatever you got to do to them. I'm going to set my horizontal constraints first. I'm going to click on this node and drop that over there. That one and this one and this one. And you can see the dotted lines here. This is the geometry that we cut out. And I'm going to click on this one and that one. Now I need to do my verticals, which is up and down. There and there. And there. Now I'm going to go into Excel here, and as I said in my other video, I got this octagon calculator, and I was able to come up with these formulas right here to constrain that geometry we just drew, which uses this divisor, shoulder divisor here, and gives us this measurement. This is what we want to constrain right here. So I'm going to do our horizontals, which is the width minus the width divided by 2.4121347, and that is in parentheses, and then divide that by 2, which gives us this figure right here, and will automatically adjust when we change our part size or our cabinet size. I'm going to click copy. I clicked in that cell, I right click, click copy, and now I'm going to go into eCabinets. I'm going to click my edit button, and I'm going to edit my horizontal constraints. Now I'm going to hit paste, or click paste and hit enter, and it put the formula in here for me. So I'm going to click on this one, and it's got it highlighted. If it's not highlighted, you need to highlight it. Right click, click paste and enter. Same with this one, paste and enter, and this one, and paste and enter. Now I need to do my verticals. So I'm going to go back into Excel, and I'm going to click on my vertical constraint formula here. I didn't want to do that. I'm going to click on this, I want to right click, and I want to click copy. Now go back into eCabinets and do my vertical constraints. So I'm going to make sure I got edit selected. I'm going to click on this one and paste. This one, got to hit enter. Click on that one, it's highlighted. I'm going to right click, click paste and enter, and paste and enter, and paste and enter. Now I can neaten this up a little bit to make it easier to read in the future. If I come back in here, I know what's going on. Plus it just looks nicer. And so there we have that. And I'm going to click on main here and go back to main, and yes, I want to keep my changes. Now what you would do, you would go through and set all your constraints all at one time. You don't have to keep coming back to main unless you just want to make sure you save your column here after you change the constraints. That's entirely up to you, but let's resize this thing and see if it works. So let's go 21 by 21 and hit enter. And as you can see, it did just fine. Everything looks good. I'm going to change it back to 9.5 by 9.5 and enter. And I'm going to save this and come back and go through and get all of these good to go. And on the next video, we'll be putting in our front stretchers here, so stay tuned for that video. And if this video helped you, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and as always, thank you for watching and have a good day. Be sure to check out part 3 of this series to see how I use the stretcher editor and the advanced feature to get these stretchers to resize.